Alrighty, traders, let's go have a look at the silver mining stocks, the SILJ and the SIL. We're going to be looking at the SIL and the SILJ, or the silver mining ETFs there, and we're going to be looking at what's going on right now with these markets. We're going to be looking at the charts, the technical analysis, what's going on right now. Where is the big picture? What's the short-term picture? What is the overall movement likely to be coming up? Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into it. I am running a 50% off my private weekly 12-month coaching program. If you're interested in that, very first thing in the description, go check it out right now before the 50% off sale ends, and it actually is ending real soon. So go check it out right now before it ends. Moving over to let's actually start with the SILJ first. And let's start with the SILJ on the weekly, right? The weekly chart, because this is the master time frame. The trend is your friend until the end, and the trend is your friend until the end. The most important trend is that weekly charts. If you're trading the markets, like that's only if you're trading the daily charts. You always want to be looking at the higher time frame. So if I'm trading the daily charts, or especially if I'm investing long term in SILJ or SIL or the silver miner ETFs, silver mining stocks, then I always want to be keeping an eye on that long-term weekly chart, because the weekly chart is like a big wave. The weekly chart's like a wave, and you'll see this happen. And this is, I see this so many times. We'll have a move up on the weekly charts, and then we'll have a pullback through here on the weekly charts. And so this is what the weekly chart looks like, but the daily chart will look something like this, right? Start to step down. People are like, oh, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down. But they just totally forget that big, massive picture. This is where all the big profit is made, guys, is by trading with that master time frame. If you're looking for a high probability success rate, now high probability success rate requires a few things. You've been patient within the markets, and also secondly, trading with that higher time frame trend, or investing with that higher time frame trend. So right now, this is where people get freaked out and they start to short it because the market's going down, or they simply buy it and it goes down a little bit more, and then they freak out even more. So what's happening here right now on the SILJ? Let's go have a look here. So firstly, I can see that we had a strong move down and a strong move up. Now, if I look at that, let's have a look at this here. We had a strong move down and then a strong move back up. Now, that to me is what? What does that look like? A V bottom. Not only is it a V bottom, but if we looked at this leg here, this is the selling leg, because that was the selling leg coming down. And this here is the buying leg. And so the buying leg is coming up. Which one do you think is more stronger? Well, obviously the buying leg, right? Because not only was it a lot more vertical, but it lasted longer. So the buyers are really, really, really gaining control here. And now we're just going through what I call a pullback or a resting phase. The market had a very big V bottom, and now we're doing something like this here on the daily chart, or the weekly charts as well too, right? We're just doing this. So to me, that's very, very, very bullish overall. Even if we do get a little bit of a downward movement, there's a high probability with this V bottom movement, because we had this strong buying move, and now we're getting this very, 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 very weak pullback, that we're likely to see something like this real soon overall on the silver mining stocks. Now, right now, people that are impatient with the SIL and the SILJ and the silver mining stocks, and maybe you're in some individual silver mining stocks right now. I'm actually for me personally, I'm in one silver mining stock as well too, and I'm a little bit underwater with that right now. But I say right now, that's an investing position. I have no doubt by the time I close that over the next 3 to 6 months, the trade that I got into, or the investing position I got into on one mining stock, it's going to be wildly successful. It's just being patient and having a plan as well too. Plus also, guys, I have good risk management within that trade as well too. So if the situation where it doesn't plan out and I'm completely wrong, guess what? My account is protected. I move on. I say, thank you very much for your homemade biscuits, and move on and find another setup. And if I lose 3% on that one trade that I just got into just recently over the next couple of months, well, guess what? There's going to be another trade over here that's going to make me 10% return on my account. See what? This is always what I'm trying to accomplish all the time. Try to maybe 2 or 3% risk on any given one trade overall, that is, and then if I can get a 10% return, which would be roughly about, that even up to a 20% return by risking this much. And people say, how do you do that, John? Well, if I've got 2% of my account, if I've got say 3% of my account on one trade using options long term, my maximum risk in the markets is what? 3%. That's the maximum risk. But the beauty thing about option is that you're risking 100%, but the upside, if we go through another big bull market over the next 6 months, this thing can go to 500%, this thing can go to 1,000% return, to 3,000% return, right? There's no limit to that. So what happens if we do go through a big bull run over the next 6 months within this trade? What happens then? We could go to 1,000% return. What is 1,000? If I'm risking 3% and then I make 1,000% return, my account has gone up by 30%. 30% by risking only 3%. This here, but the only way for me to get part of these here is by me trading with this weekly trend trade and not trying to be right initially as well too, especially with my investing positions. So the investing business, right now we're getting a bit of a pullback, and let me actually bring up some good old support and resistance lines. I can see that we definitely have that whole $12 level through there, probably just a bit, that whole area I would have to say, it's not an exact finite level, but I'd have to say this whole area through here, as you can see, this whole area through here is indeed a really big support and resistance level in the SILJ. All right, so we can see that's what's happening. So we could still get a bit more of a pullback out of this, especially what's going on right now. So we look at these daily charts, and as you can see that there's these daily charts that are having a bit of a pullback, and so we could continue down even more before we started to see the next up leg out of that. I also can see that, I'm just trying to see if I can get any sort of support or resistance lines going on, and I can definitely see there's something going on through there. So yeah, I can definitely see there's something on there. So once again, guys, this whole $12 level, $12 to $11 level there is a major support level in the silver mining stocks, and we may get that, or we may not. We may just hold now and rally up. One thing I do know is that if you see what I've got here on the daily charts, look at this here. This is actually a big gap, and every single time we've gotten a gap down, guess what? We've actually filled it. Look at this here. So we got a moving up, we got a gap down here, it was filled there. Gap down there, it was filled there. Little gap down there, and it was filled there. Little gap down there, filled there. So this gap down here is really high probability over the next few months of it starting to do that and coming and close that gap, especially if we hold here right now, because you can see how the buyers are starting to slowly come in just a little bit where we are right now. What we want to see is you can see this, the SILJ continuing in that upward fashion on the SILJ there. Let's go have a look at the SIL right now, and the same thing that's happening with the SIL as well too. The SIL is very strong on the upside. Let's go to the weekly charts and let's see what's going on here. Firstly, what do we have? We have the good old V bottom. We have a strong selling leg followed by a much double strong buying leg. And now what are we doing? We're just getting this. Whenever you see this sort of pattern, guys, it is powerful. Now, there's no guarantees of this continuing up, but we could actually start to see, remember I said before, we could actually see a drop down to 35 on the SIL. But there's a high probability we're going to start to pick back up real soon. We're going to start to see a big move up. I actually see a all-time new high print coming over the next few years when it comes to the SIL miners, and especially what we're seeing through here. And if you're trying to short the miners right now, you have a very low probability of it actually working out. Now, you might be right on the short term, maybe 1 or 2 days. Oh, look, John, I shorted the market and it went down yesterday and I got it right. Yippee-doo day. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Big money's made from big trends, and big trends take time. And what's happening here? This is taken time, because that's the way the market works, and it really weeds out the weak and weeds out the impatient. And people that are, say, on the daily charts right now, you can see here on the daily charts that people that are impatient are. Let me actually bring this up through here. The people that are impatient right now are not only going to lose money, but they're going to get blown out of the markets. But the people that are patient, over the next 12 months, you can likely do really well. And same for the SIL as well too. See this bit of a gap here? There's probably a very high probability we're likely to start to see this gap starting to come into play and starting to see that there. So again, it's not going to happen. It may not happen straight away, but I see this whole $40 level in the markets is a significant level. And I also see the next level coming down through to, say, around about that even 38 level there as well too is probably something going on there. So, but there's a whole level of support coming through here. So very, very, very interesting stuff going on, guys. But if we start to see this uptick in the silver mining stocks, SIL, the SILJ, the silver mining, say, ETFs there, it's looking really, really, really exciting for more upside to come real soon.